Many of you know I'm a true advocate for taking supplementation to optimize your health. And one of the best things that you can do is to choose the right collagen. It's a building block for your entire body. I was introduced to the Sparkle Wellness product, the Skin Boost Plus, about a year ago, and I've been taking it ever since. Having struggled with growing my hair out while I was prepping for the Mrs. America pageant, the Skin Boost Plus product could not have come at a better time. It's formulated with a special bioactive collagen known as Verisol. Verisol collagen is scientifically proven to reduce the fine lines underneath the eyes, around the mouth, and also grow stronger and healthier hair. It truly is feeding your beauty from the inside out. Skin Boost Plus not only contains the Verisol collagen, but it contains hyaluronic acid as well as vitamin C, which aids in skin health and boosts your immunity. This is super important these days. In addition, Skin Boost Plus Sparkle Wellness offers a collagen supplement formulated for joint health called Joint Boost, and a collagen supplement formulated for promoting lean muscle mass called Muscle Boost. So we've got the Sparkle Collagen, the Muscle Boost, and the Joint Boost. And right now, you can get any of the Sparkle Wellness collagen supplements from Amazon or from their website, which is lovesparkle.life, and you can use my code. It's Dr. Fit, that's DRFIT, and that will get you 20% off their delicious range of collagen products for skin, joint, and muscles. Thank you to Sparkle for your amazing products and for sponsoring the Fit and Fabulous podcast. Welcome to the Fit and Fabulous podcast with Dr. Jaime Seaman. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jaime and welcome back to the Fit and Fabulous podcast. It is so wonderful to have you here. Thanks for coming back every single week. Thanks for leaving the reviews, with the likes, the shares, the comments. You guys, every time you do that, you help us spread these messages around the world. So thank you for doing that. I have a pretty awesome guest on today's podcast, my friend Logan Delgado, also known as Goody. He's a proud husband and father of two beautiful little girls. He has an incredible story of losing 70 pounds with the help of a ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. And he has now dedicated his life to inspiring others to reach their best shape. He has an awesome YouTube channel, hundreds of videos, you guys, on how to start the ketogenic diet, workout tips, routines, meal prep, healthy recipe videos. He shows what he feeds his kids. He's also the co-founder at BioCoach, and BioCoach is doing some really awesome things that we're going to talk about on today's podcast. And he has just really found his purpose in life. And it's very apparent if you follow him on social media. He's here to motivate and inspire and remind people that it's never too late to become what you might have been. Logan Delgado, welcome to the Fit and Fabulous podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We were just talking before we started recording about Logan's trip to the Dallas Cowboys game. We're both having our morning cup of coffee. I got a coffee cup with my kids drawing on it. He's drinking out of a Super Bowl winning Dallas Cowboys coffee mug, even though he thinks the season's over for those Cowboys.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was so fun.
Okay, Logan, take us back to before you became Goody and what people know you as today. And for those that don't know you, tell us where you were at in life and what inspired you to make these awesome changes in your life.
Yeah. So, before social media, before Goody and YouTube and all this, I was always, in pretty good shape in high school. I played tons of sports, right? I was in track. For those of you who don't know this, I don't think I've ever said this on a podcast. I was a pole vaulter. I was pretty good too. And you gotta be a little crazy.
I'm picturing it now. Yeah, I love it.
You gotta be a little crazy to be a pole vaulter, right? So I pole vaulted in high school because I was not fast. I'm a short guy, so I did not have the long legs and the speed for any 100, 200, whatever, 400. They were like, yeah, I think you'll be good at pole vault. Cool, sweet. So did that. So I played sports all around. I played basketball. Was not good at it. B team, all-star B team. But I was always in great shape, right? But when you get out of high school and you go to college, well, you're kind of high school athletics or your athletic career changes for most people. You're not getting scholarships anywhere. I didn't, at least. And so you kind of pick up these really bad habits, right? Of partying with your friends, going out late at night, coming back from going out all night and getting a $5 Little Caesar pizza. And I did that for years. I would say for about 8 years of my life, I did that. And it wasn't until I was 26 years old, I went to the doctor and he was like, whoa, like we just a routine checkup. It was like, whoa, your blood pressure is high, your cholesterol is high. You need to get on medication for that. You have type 2 diabetes, you're insulin resistant, you're borderline obese, and you like need to make changes. And again, of course, like I kind of knew this, just, I mean, obviously looking in the mirror, I was definitely overweight. And that was a big wake up call, right? For like a doctor to tell you those things, actually physically show you on paper all your health markers. And again, like I'm a very naive 26-year-old at this point. Like I have no idea what type 2 diabetes is. I have no idea what insulin resistance is. I have no idea what any of these markers mean. And I was like, okay, I know I need to make a change. So from that point, it started off as a seed and it kind of grew into, okay, well, I know I need to eat healthy. I know what that looks like, but I know I need to probably stop eating fast food, Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, all this junk, right? I know I need to stop drinking, and I know I need to get in the gym. And so I did those two things. But what really, really sparked the fire underneath my ass, and this is a funny story. I was on Facebook, and you know how Facebook recommends people you should probably be friends with? Like, hey, Logan, this guy has like 100 friends in common. You probably know this guy. I didn't know that guy. That was my wife's ex-boyfriend in high school. And he was in the gym, shirt off, flexing. And I was like, oh my God, that guy looks great. And then I'm looking at myself and I'm like, okay, oh, hell no. Nah, this guy's not going to look better than me. And that really, really sparked the journey. And from that point on, got into the gym. I was a psychopath. I screenshotted that picture. I wasn't friends with him, but I screenshotted the profile, the profile, and like zoomed in on it so I could see it and remind me. I put it as my screensaver. I know, pretty nuts, right? So days that I didn't want to go to the gym, I looked at my phone. Days that I didn't want to eat healthy, I looked at my phone. So use it as a constant motivation. So that's essentially where it all started. Pretty random, crazy story, but I think that's kind of how most people get started. Like, it's just that they get that one thing that just like, boom, all right, that triggered it, that launched my path, that launched my journey, and I just never looked back.
Okay, a few things I want to unpack. So obviously we all get that moment where we're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's how I always think about it. But I feel like a lot of us have probably done that multiple times in our life. And so you use like these situations. Yeah, you see your, wife's ex-boyfriend, like these things seem to keep us like temporarily motivated. But what has kept you going through all of these years? I mean, obviously you probably still don't have that picture on your phone.
No. And by the way, if I okay, this is I'm not, I hope this doesn't come off wrong. No. But I have looked at that picture before and I'm like, I can't believe this motivated me. Like, what? But that just goes from the like where I'm at now to where I was then, like where I'm like, that guy doesn't even look good. He looks horrible. Look at this. His like the bodybuilding mindset, right? Like I'm like, look, he's doing his double bicep wrong. Like, oh my God, he needs to suck this. Like, yeah, it's so funny. So what definitely
kept you motivated through all these years?
Yeah, I got really addicted to results. I really did. I really got addicted to results, seeing the scale move, seeing my body change. And then it just so happened that when I started that journey, it was kind of around when Instagram was launching and YouTube fitness and YouTube like athletes or fitness athletes or influencers were starting their page. And I started to watch a lot of fitness influencers on YouTube, and Instagram was kind of popping at that time. It just started. And I was like, I got a pretty interesting story. Like I met this guy, he's blowing up. I think if I share my story, I could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really kept me motivating, right? Like people come like, oh my God, like, dude, I watch your page, you've helped me lose so much weight, or oh my God, you're helping me get in better shape. Like that really kept me going for sure. Cause I fell in love with that. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like I'm really able to help a lot of people just like myself. And again, at the same time, this was before I had kids. So this is like completely different mindset. This the younger kid just wanting to help, the people out of college or still in college, or maybe a little bit older crowd. Like, hey, you can still do it. Look how I used to look, and I did. There's nothing special about me. Had to go to work out before the 9 to 5, or maybe after the 9 to 5. But I'm just like you. I got to work. I got to support my family, but I still find time to go to the gym. So that really kept me going, is the results and then the encouragement and the inspiration that I would get from social media.
Yeah. So you talked about getting back in the gym. You see this picture. Obviously, I think, everybody listening would agree that exercise is really good and lifting weights. But when it came to your diet, why the ketogenic diet? Like where did that come from?
Yeah, I didn't even know I was doing the ketogenic diet. I did not pick the ketogenic diet. I did not pick or choose to intermittent fast. So when I got into the gym, no, it picked me. Yeah. I did not choose any of that. So when I got into the gym, like everyone else, guys, I had no idea what to do. I would go into the gym and just hop from machine to machine, sit on it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Do legs, do back. I was just doing random machines. I had no idea what to do. And it just so happened one day I go into the gym and I see my manager, my department head, and he's in there, and he was always in great shape. And I was like, man, look at him. Like, damn, he's a buff guy. Like he knows what he's doing. And I went and said, what's up? I was like, yo, what's up, dude? And he was like, oh, do you come at this time? I was like, yeah, I'm going to start coming at this time. He's like, cool. I need a gym buddy. I'll show you how to work out. You train with me. It's kind of like every guy in the gym that you need that gym bro. And so I was like, all right, awesome. So he took me under his wing, showed me how to train, showed me how to bodybuild, showed me how to use split days. Again, for people listening, like what that means is like on Monday, we're going to train upper body. On Tuesdays, we're going to train lower body. On Wednesdays, we're going to train arms and, et cetera. Just have like structure to your plan. He took me under his wing. And I remember always telling him like, Clint, I want to get shredded. Because that was like the term everybody was using back in like 2012 and 13. People still use it, but I was like, I want to get shredded, man. And he's like, okay, cool. He's like, I'm going to write you a meal plan. You need to follow it. It's like, okay, I promise you, I will follow it 100%. Okay. Writes out this plan, hands it to me. All right, cool. All right. So do this, do that. All right. Cool. Nice. Did it. Made dramatic changes. Like my body was changing overnight. It was crazy. Every week I was getting leaner and leaner. The abs were popping out. Like it was nuts. And then he comes to me. He's like, oh, by the way, you're doing the ketogenic diet and you're intermittent fasting. I have never heard of the ketogenic diet at that point. And I go back and I look at that meal plan. Sure enough, start my first meal, 1 o'clock, second meal, 3 o'clock, third meal, 7, last meal I think was at 9. So, and it was literally just beef, broccoli, cheese. Yeah, simple. It was the most simplest meals ever. It was literally just beef and veggies. It was really all it was. Maybe some salmon in there a couple times, but just really just meat and cheese and some butter and veggies, and that was really all I ate. And so that's how I discovered the ketogenic diet. And so I said, you know what? I'll make some videos on it on my YouTube channel and show people what I ate. Because people were like, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? And then when I started showing people, people lost their minds. People were like, oh my God, are you kidding me? You're eating fat and losing fat? Like, how are you doing this? That's crazy. And again, this is 2013. Like the ketogenic diet was just coming along, getting popular. And so people thought like it was insane that you could eat fat and lose fat. And that's kind of that is how I found the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting, but it was the best thing because it really launched my YouTube channel for sure.
So you were doing keto like before keto was cool, because it really didn't become the most Googled word, I believe, until about 2018. I mean, 2016, maybe 2016. So yeah, you're the real OG.
Dude, doing it, didn't even know I was doing it.
Yeah.
I never heard of the word, never heard of the term.
Which I think is really cool, because I think that especially these days, you say like, oh, the ketogenic diet, and then people have this immediate reaction, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And it's interesting that you just said I had a plan and I just executed the plan, and I don't even know, what it was or what name it had to it or what. So obviously the weight was coming off, but did you notice any other benefits from the
Oh yeah.
diet?
Well,
Like,
not
what
only
else did you
noticing
experience for people that are maybe listening that have never tried this before?
Well, okay. So, and so one things that for sure, like the difference is got off my medications. No
How
longer
many
having to take
medications were you taking?
So I was taking high blood pressure medication and I was taking Crestor for my cholesterol.
And how quickly did you get off your medications?
I would say in about 6 months, I would say I got off my medication. I remember I went back and there was no need to refill a medication back then.
Wow.
I kind of briefly remember like, hey, Kate, you don't need to take this anymore. Your blood works good. So, and again, like back then, I wasn't paying attention to my A1C. I wasn't paying attention to my insulin numbers. I wasn't paying attention to any of that. That was all like foreign language to me. All I was just like kind of looking in the mirror, seeing how I looked, seeing how I felt. So one, off the medication, right? Blood work came back great. Energy levels out the roof. Just always wanted to train, always wanted to work out. And before that, and I kind of skipped over this part, but when I was overweight, when I was obese, I was definitely in a bad place mentally. I was, a little bit depressed, obviously had no energy, never wanted to do anything, obviously never wanted to take pictures. So I'm so grateful for the fat pictures that I do have that I can share, but never wanting to like take pictures and avoid people. Cause I knew I was like, man, like this is not the way I looked in high school. And I don't want to see my friends around this town and then see me and be like, damn, what happened to you, bro? Like, cause it did happen. That did happen. Like I remember seeing a buddy from high school at the river and he was like, damn dude, like what happened to you? I'm like, I know, like got big. But in the inside I was like, you mother, like really upset about it. Right. So those are obviously the cool things that happen, right? Off of medication, felt great. But overall from the inside, like I felt really good about myself. My confidence skyrocketed. Very just overall, just I felt I can't even explain it. Like I just felt really accomplished and good that like I went from a really bad spot in my life, physically, mentally, spiritually, and converted to just like feeling the best I've ever felt, looked the best I've ever looked, and really helping others along the way. So that was a huge wake up call for me. And it was awesome. It was a great feeling.
That's so incredible. So what has the evolution of your diet been from, 2013, you're just like beef and veggies, to what Logan eats now in 2000? People are so obsessed with what I eat. They're always like, take pictures of what you eat.
Oh my gosh.
Really boring by most people's standards, but what's your diet like now?
It's so funny you said that. I just posted a video. So I've been doing YouTube for, gosh, like it's got to be close to 10 years. And my videos that do the best are always anything that incorporates what I eat in a day. Still to this day, people are still interested about what you eat, right? So, and it's so funny if people who haven't come back to my YouTube channel, or haven't like they come back after a year off or something, and they'll come back and like, whoa, what's going on, man? Are you not keto anymore? Or I'm watching what you're eating, and they freak out. And so I have definitely evolved from the way I used to eat in the very beginning, because I have different mindset, right? Like it's different goals. when I first started keto, remember, it was all about losing weight. It was all about reversing my health markers. And I lost 70 pounds. I was super skinny. Oh, I don't need to lose any more weight, right? Now it's all about building muscle. I want to build muscle. So incorporating higher protein. So technically, like if you were to look at it at a ketogenic percentage standpoint, it wasn't technically keto because the protein's the highest macro. But for me, it was all about building muscle. And so over the years, I've definitely have experience with carbs. I incorporate them now, sometimes before my workout, after my workout, just depends on what day I'm doing. But I think for me and what I tell my audience and my clients is like, look, if you're in an unhealthy spot, if you're in an unhealthy position, you probably don't need carbs at this moment. Let's really focus on the ketogenic diet, a low carb, low glycemic diet, and let's get your numbers right. Let's get you where you want to be. Once you get there, once we can get you to the right spot, reverse your insulin resistance, then let's start incorporating some carbs, and we can go from there. And that's kind of what I've done. And I've done a lot of blood sugar tests. So I don't know if you've been seeing my Instagram videos, but I'm surprising myself with these videos. Because I know for a fact,
so you're testing your blood sugar response basically to these different foods, right?
To these pretty traditional foods that most Americans eat, right? Like, and again, I'm getting a lot of these ideas from followers. Like, yo, can you test this? Can you test this? Can you test the ultra popular oat milk, which I know people love, but it's not very good for you.
Yeah. So what's been most surprising out of the things you've tested?
So I just tested yesterday. I tested milk, 2% milk, and I really thought I was going to get a pretty big spike with it having 12 grams of sugar per serving. Most people are going to have two. Like, most people are going to have 2 servings. So that's about 24 grams of sugar, right? It did not have a huge spike. Matter of fact, it was, I want to say maybe 10, and then it came right back down to baseline. So that was very surprising. But again, what I always try to relate to people is like, look, I'm no longer type 2 diabetic. I'm no longer insulin resistant. I have tons of muscle. So my body can handle that spike, right? But it just goes to show you that, look, if you eat these foods, you have a high spike, and it takes a while for you to come down. If you get in shape and you start working out, build muscle, and reverse your insulin resistance and increase your insulin sensitivity, you can have these foods and not have a dramatic, effect. And so that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, I definitely, my meals, my food has changed over the years. Now I'm only focused on building muscle, and retaining muscle, especially as I get older. And so, like, I definitely have carbs and before my workout and after my workout. And that is when I will have them. I always try to use carbs. My big thing is, if I'm going to have them, put them to work. I'm going to put them to use. And so that's kind of my mentality. So it's definitely changed over the years, where I'm not going to lie, Jamie, I was terrified of carbs in the very beginning. I was one of those, like, oh my God, I can't have carbs. Oh my God, this has 5 carbs in it. I can't eat it. No, it's going to knock me out of ketosis. I was super scared of carbs when I first started my journey. I'm no longer like that anymore.
Yeah, I think you bring up some really good points. I think people think that if they have diabetes or insulin resistant, that they're going to have to be on a ketogenic diet for the rest of their life. And so you bring up such a good point that for a lot of people, once you can get down to a normal body fat percentage, you can start working on building some muscle. Muscle is a great reservoir for carbs, and it's not about being 0 carb for the rest of your life. It's just about maintaining normal blood sugar levels. And I think for some people, when we look at the carb usage per meal, Gabrielle Lyon and I were just talking about this, it's about 40 grams per meal. So if you extrapolate that out into 3 meals, that's still 120 grams of carbs per day. In an insulin sensitive person, you would probably be fine. Now, by most people's standards, that's still a low carb diet.
Yeah.
But I think it's a spectrum of diets, right? Everything from people that need therapeutic ketosis to people just eating low glycemic or low carb diets, and I think you're doing such a great job, thinking about using them strategically, or some people call it out a targeted ketogenic diet, where you're basically only loading carbs into pre or post workout, times of your day. So I think for people listening, I think Logan just brings up a great point that I just want to highlight, that low carb ketogenic diets do not look the same for everybody. they're all over the road. And when he was talking about this glucose testing with specific products, every single person is going to have a different response. So
Yeah.
you're watching your favorite influencer, because there's a couple people doing a lot of testing these days, as these things are more available to people should test for themselves and see, okay,
Yeah.
what does it do against my normal diet? And I think it's such interesting data to see it in real time. I think, like you said, I went into the doctor and like seeing these labs was like eye-opening. I think it's such an important, valuable piece of education for people and just how they respond individually to their diet. Which is a great segue for us to start talking about what you do these days. Besides being an influencer and a YouTuber, tell us what BioCoach is and what's going on at BioCoach.
Yeah. So BioCoach, we are almost to the finish line, but so we are working on something that no one has ever done before. We want to be the GPS of your health, right? And so we have a glucose and ketone monitor, which I was talking to Jaime about a little earlier. Checking your blood sugar. It's so important to know what foods and how your body responds to different foods. That's going to link up to an app that is just, we're putting so much work into this app. It's going to show you what to buy at the grocery store. Amazing, easy recipes that you can make, shoppable recipes that you could go pick up at Walmart. Awesome challenges from myself and Jaime and Mike Munsell and Dr. James DiNico Antonio and many more, Chris Irvin, just so many awesome coaches. So whether you are experienced or a beginner, there will be coaches and there will be challenges for you to do. Every day that you take care of your health, every day that you are tracking your numbers, you're going to get rewards. With those rewards, you'll be able to get awesome discounts and awesome prizes from Redmond Rural Salt, just Perfect Keto, just amazing partner brands that we partnered with. And it's just a really cool thing because no one's ever done that before. People are great, like Peloton's great at challenge videos or doing courses. Great. We're going to take a part of that. Uber Eats is great at being able to order food. Cool. You could do that through our app as well, but it's all going to be healthy. It's all going to be fit. Our mission, which is we want to reverse people's metabolic diseases. We want to help them and make healthy living simpler. Because I think that's one of the hardest things to do here in America is make healthy living simpler. I think people, if you just go get a random person off the streets and start asking them some questions like, hey, what's your A1C? I guarantee half of them would say, I don't even know what that is. Or, hey, do you know what you should be eating? I kind of do, but not really. Can you just show me? Got you. So that's our main mission. And I can't tell you how much this means to me because a lot of my family members personally all struggle from type 2 diabetes and lupus and all kinds of, obesity. And it's not that they don't want to get healthy. It's just that they don't know how. And no one's ever talked to them at their level or, it's always like, you go to a doctor's office or you watch a video on YouTube or something. It's like over the head. We want to meet people where they are and grab them by the hand. I'm like, look, I'm going to take you to Walmart. I'm going to show you exactly what you should buy. You don't know what to cook with these recipes? Cool. Boom. Got some recipes right here. You don't want to order recipes? You don't want to go to Walmart? Cool. You can order BioCoach meals, get them sent delivered to your house. So we want to take all the roadblocks that people have and just make it as convenient as possible. So it's been a long journey and we're almost there, but I'm so excited because I know this is going to help so many people.
Yeah, diabetes and insulin resistance is a huge problem, not only in our country, but all over the world. And full disclosure for you guys, I am the chief medical officer at BioCoach. So I'm well aware of what the team is doing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really, really awesome stuff. And I think the one thing is I really respect the team at BioCoach for doing things the right way. I think there's a lot of people that came into the low carbon ketogenic space to, sell a gimmick or, a product or whatever it is. And what you're going to get at BioCoach is like true, authentic people that really are trying to help people on a grassroots level. I think it's really empowering patients again to take ownership for their own health because I work in the healthcare system and we're busy and there's a lot of patients and we don't have time to educate people Most doctors haven't been, they don't have a background in nutrition. You go to the internet or the social media, you could probably get even more confused, because like one person's telling you, try this, one person's telling you, nope, that's garbage, don't do that. So at the end of the day, it's just really about taking personal ownership. And I think that's what, this new app and our new Bluetooth meter is really going to do. It's going to allow you to test your numbers, know your numbers, figure out your diet for yourself. And we're really trying to make it very affordable too, for everybody, because we realize that, there are different socioeconomic classes of people that, we know the lower ones tend to be burdened more by these problems. And we really want to make it affordable. There's a lot of glucose monitoring out there. It's extremely expensive when you start talking about direct to consumer testing. And so we really want to make this available to everybody, because everybody really needs it. So that's super exciting stuff. Okay. So you have a family, you're a father, 2 little girls. I only have girls too. I have 3 girls. So
me and Ben only make beautiful girls.
Okay. So people not only are always obsessed with what I eat, but they want to know what my family eats. So tell us, like, does your wife do keto? What do your kids eat?
Yeah. So let's start off with my wife. So, cause I had put some transformation pictures of my wife and I, cause when we first got married, we're big. Both of us were pretty big. And we always joke around how like, man, we need to redo our wedding shots. Cause she's like, she hates when I post, our wedding pictures. And, so she started, for people who are married, like if you want your wife to do something, the best thing you can do is not tell her to do it. Because once you tell her to do something, she's not going to do it. She's like, I'm not taking your advice. Get out of here. Who are you telling me not to eat my pasta? So my wife, she kind of dove into keto. She didn't really like it. She did more low carb but she really was big on intermittent fasting, and that really helped her tremendously. And that's how she lost a lot of weight. We both did. Like we were both very big when we got married, and we lost tons of weight. The funny thing is we lost tons of weight after we had kids, which is go figure, right? Because when you don't have kids, you should have all the time in the world. When you do have kids, like it is like your whole day has to be planned. You have to have hour blocks because you just have zero time when you have kids, especially little ones. And so, that's kind of how she did it. Now, when it comes to my girls, I am very torn some days, right? Because the most important thing for me as a father and as a parent is I want my kids to be healthy. I want them to obviously perform and be able to do things at their best ability, especially my oldest daughter, Logan. She just started school, so I don't want to give her any foods that's going to like mess up her mood or her ability to pay attention in class. But at the same time, I want her to be a child. I want her to be a kid. I want her to enjoy childhood. I don't want her to think about, should I eat this? Should I not? And so some days like I'm very torn on it because, she'll say, hey, daddy, can I get an ice cream? And it's like, I don't want you to eat ice cream, but you are a child, you're a kid, and you should eat ice cream. And so I try to find a balance some days, right? Like if they want to have cake, they can have cake. If they want a cookie, fine, have a cookie. But any opportunity I have, I'm like, hey, push-up challenge, let's go. Who could do push-ups? Or, hey, let's go outside. I bet you I'm faster than you, just to get them going, right? And every day every evening after dinner, we always go for a walk. Just, that's just our thing. So I try to keep them as active as possible. And that's kind of how I guess I would say I justify it to myself as a parent and a father. If I'm going to allow them to eat these sweets, it's my job to keep them as active as possible, and not just sit around watching YouTube or watching TV. Like we're going to go outside, we're going to play, we're going to go on the trampoline, we're going to go for a walk. I'm going to race you. I bet you I can do more push-ups than you. Just keep them as active as possible. So I obviously do try to get them to eat as healthy as possible. And some days that's hard. Like my oldest one, she can eat steak, eat eggs, eat all that. My little one, not so much. She's not really a big meat eater, but she loves eggs. And so I'm like, okay, that is where I got to get that protein and fat in for you then. So it's some days it's a struggle, because, they're around other kids, and what are other kids eating? All the sugary junk, and they're surrounded by it. But I try to find that balance of, hey, eat healthy, stay active, but still and be a kid, and don't worry about these things.
Yeah, I think it's important not to demonize like any particular food.
Yeah.
I have talked about this in my own journey. When I found out I had prediabetes, hypothyroidism, I adopted low carb ketogenic diet. My husband did it alongside. But when we first started, I was making myself salmon and broccoli for dinner. And then I was making my kids mac and cheese.
Oh
Because I
my
think as a mom,
gosh.
like, you're just like, I want everybody to eat dinner. I don't want anybody to complain. Like, we're gonna like get through this, get to bedtime. I was tired. And then in 2017, 2018, we kind of said, okay, like, let's start really thinking about the way we feed our children, because they started to ask, like, they're like, mommy, why are you eating that? And I'm eating this. Like, they just started to ask a lot of questions. And I think one of the best ways to approach it is just empowering them with education, like,
Yep.
we need protein to make our muscles strong, or like, we need this to like help our tummies, or we need this to help our brain function. And I think that when you really like empower them with that education, I've watched them start to make, like, mine are a little older than yours. Like I just like have these moments of just like elation and celebration, because sometimes my daughter will come home and she's like, oh my gosh, they just fed us garbage at school today. Like, I took the bun off and like, I just ate the hamburger patty, and like, I just had, and I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, like, because you can force feed them, but then at some
Yeah.
point, like, they're going to leave your house. Like, I remember my freshman year of college, right? You're out of your parents. There's like no rules.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to come home when I want. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to do what I like. At
Yep.
some point, they're going to leave your home, and they're going to
Yep.
have to make these decisions for themselves. And so we just talk about too, about like I said, mine are older. My kids are older than Logan's, but like, even just the order in which you eat your food, like, eat your protein first. If they ask
Yep.
for, hey, I want some more rice or pasta or whatever. Okay. Did you eat your protein? Cool. All right. You ate your protein. All right. You can have a little bit more.
Yep.
And then I love too about you talking about just like walking after meals, being physically active. Like, it's so important as when they are young like this. And I think too, just like letting them try lots of different foods. I definitely self-imposed what I thought, like, they probably won't eat that. And then when I put scallops and salmon and all this, like, they're just like eating it up. Like, they loved it.
Yep.
I think sometimes you think as an adult, like, oh, they won't like the taste of this or the texture of this, and you see all these carnivore people these days, their kids are like eating raw
Yeah.
liver, all this
Eating raw
crazy.
meat. Yes. Yes. It's crazy. It
But I
is.
think we develop those things, like, over the years, and like, you take a small child and put that stuff in front of them, and like, they don't know any different, and they just eat it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My littlest one is so funny. Because like you said, I do that. It's whenever we talk about food, I tell them, this is good because it's going to make you strong. This is good because it's going to make you fast. And so my little one now has gotten to the habit, and it's so funny. Anytime she is about to eat something, she'll say, Daddy, is this good for you? Daddy, is this good for you? And so it's just so funny. Like, we all just laugh anytime, like, Daddy, I want a banana. Is this good for you? Or if she does choose something bad, I'm like, well, it's not, but if you do this, it'll be okay. So yeah, it's so funny how they pick up on things. And then also for me, I really want to be very careful, because like, we have girls, and so I don't want them to ever think about food and body image, right? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a very slippery slope. That's why, like you said, it makes your brain strong. It makes your, it makes your tummy feel better. It makes your arms, whatever. Like, I just try to say things that have nothing to do with body image or looks or anything like that, especially when it comes to girls, because how, we went to school, and I can only imagine, I couldn't imagine like growing up through the high school system or the school nowadays with social media. We didn't have any of that when I went. So it's a very slippery slope, but I just want to just educate them, like you said, but kind of stay away from, well, this makes you pretty or skinny or any of that stuff. I never, ever want them to have to think about that.
Yeah, my middle child, who's 9, last year, she came home from school and a boy had called her fat. And that was like our first experience with, like,
Yeah.
she was obsessing about it for days on end. And I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if she was just more offended that this boy said something that got like a rise out of her, or if like, but yeah, I'm totally in tune with that too as a mom, because even like as an adult woman, like it's hard sometimes. And men, I don't even want to say this is a female problem. I think it's, I mean, for men too, we all have our own insecurities,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
there's a level of vulnerability when it comes to our bodies, especially when you came from, being overweight and depressed. And so I think the more that you can just be the example for your kids, just living your most full life and showing them that it's okay to be strong as little girls, like it's such a important time in their life when they're little like this. And
Yes.
the way that you talk about how to approach these situations is so important. And so, with my daughter, she said this, and I said, well, like, do you think you are? And she's like, well, no. I'm like, okay, then why do you care? Like, well, why do you care what this little boy said to you? Like, just move on with your day. And she's like, but these are just great opportunities sometimes, because we get that bullying as adults too. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh
you're
yeah.
on
We get it
social
all the
media,
time.
you're on YouTube. Yeah.
I
How
get it
do you
every
deal
day.
with internet trolls?
I block them. I used to go full in with some. I mean, I'm talking, it would get ugly. Like I was one of those guys that, like, you want to say something to me? Let's go. Well, like, let's do this. Let's go. And I mean, we'll take it from the comments. We'll take it into the private DMs. Then we'll take it to another platform. Like, let's go. And then I quickly figured, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Right. This is very bad energy. This is not who I am. Like, what am I doing? And so now I just block them. I don't care. It could be, it may not even be, maybe the person may not even come off as trying to be negative, but if I read it and I take it as negativity, gone. I just don't put up with it anymore. Um, because yeah, you quickly find out, like, you're never going to please everybody, right? And people are always going to have an opinion, and that's fine. And I've heard, like, the argument, well, Logan, you're on social media, so you should be able to take criticism. I'm like, yeah, you're right, but this is my platform. Like, this is
Yeah.
my channel. This is not your channel. And so yeah, I just block people. I have, like, if you go through my block list, like, it is just I have so many people blocked. I just don't put up with it, because for me, like, I'm a big believer in energy. Like, I'm a big believer in vibes. Um, you know,
Vibes don't lie. That's what Goody said.
vibes don't lie. Vibes do not lie. I can meet somebody and tell you in 5 minutes if I'm gonna vibe with this person or not. And so, and I've been in, like, I've worked at companies, and I've worked in groups where you'll have that one negative person. I know people are listening to this right now, and you have that one negative person at work. It will just suck the energy out of you. It will just bring you down. Like, when you get into that room and this person's like, oh my God, like, oh, it's Monday, like, I'm mad, they're in a bad mood. It's infectious. Like, it will spread. And I don't like that. I don't like to be around negativity. I don't like to be around that. I want to be around outgoing, energetic people just like myself. And that's what I like. And that's what I want around me. And so, anybody who's listening to this, if you are on social media, and even if you're not even an influencer, like, you're just on social media and you have someone that's, like, bringing you negative energy, or it's making you feel negative, get like, block it. I'm telling you, it's doing.
Unfollow.
Unfollow. Exactly. Even that, James, I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, I follow, like, yeah, if you follow somebody and when you look at their stuff and it gives you a negative feeling, unfollow them. Like, just unfollow them. And that's my biggest thing. Like, and I've always want to ask you too, like, how do you deal with it? Because I'm sure you got to get so many questions on things that you're like, I can't answer this. Like,
Yeah, I'm always towing the line because I'm a doctor. So, in the social media world, I constantly, people want to ask questions. And so, I'm really always careful how I engage with people. I don't get a lot of like haters. I always thought when I went carnivore that I would have more like vegans showing up and like getting angry about stuff, but like it
Yeah.
really doesn't happen. But I mean, I do. I get really strange DMs sometimes, like being a doctor. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm just some person on the internet. Like, but honestly, I just ignore it. Like and I don't really block people. I just ignore it. I just don't respond. I don't engage. I think that your time and your energy are your most valuable assets. And
Yeah.
I mean, I can't lie. It's hard sometimes. Like it just starts to like make you boil inside. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm like, no, like they don't get my response. They don't get my time. Like next, thank you. Next. But I will unfollow accounts that give me negative energy. In my book, I call it auditing your circle. Like I don't have any interest in being affiliated with people that drain me. And these might be people that are really close to you. That's like the unfortunate part about it.
It is.
Might be your own family member sometimes. But you have to protect it. And that's one thing I just, really respect about you, Logan. I've never been around Logan when he's in a bad mood. Like it doesn't matter. He brings the same like zest for life, like in every single situation. And it's mad respect. Sometimes it's hard to show up that way. Like we're not all jazzed up every day. Like we all have bad days. So
no, it's I love it.
Your authenticity.
I appreciate it. And anybody who's listening to this or watching this, if you do meet me, trust me, like I have one speed, and that is go. Like, let's go. It's go time.
I don't know the answer to this question. Where did the name Goody Beats come from?
Random, super random. This is super random. I'll make it quick because it's this random. So me, when I got out of college, obviously, when we went to college, me and my buddies all got an apartment together. And, one of our roommates, like every single time he would come into the like, yo, what's Goody? Like pretty much saying like, what are we doing tonight? Or what are we getting into? Or what are we doing? So he'd always say, what's Goody? What's Goody? And so it kind of got like the whole, like all of us saying it. So we were all saying, yo, what's Goody? What's Goody? And back then I was really into Kanye West, and he's a producer. He makes, beats and instrumentals for other rappers. I was a big fan of his. And, Instagram and all these other apps started popping up, and, everyone was picking usernames, and I was like, that's kind of lame to just put Logan Delgado as a username. I need to have like an alias. And so I was like, okay, I love Kanye West. He's a producer. We always say, what's Goody? So I'll just put Goody Beats because he makes beats, and we always say, what's Goody? So Goody Beats kind of came together. Has nothing to do with fitness, nothing to do with anything. Just a random name put together. I used it on Twitter when I made my Twitter account, and I just used that same name for any other thing that I made. And that's how it stuck. So it's a super, super random name, but it just stuck, and I've kept it for all these years. Like I kind of like it. It's so funny. Like people call me Goody more than they call me Logan, like out in public, right? If they see me, yo, Goody. And it's almost weird now. If someone passes me in the grocery store or someone sees me and they're like, Logan, I'm like, who called me Logan?
So my mom,
like, right? Like who, I'm Goody. It's funny though. I'm just so used to it now. I love it, but it's a random name. But I do have, I want to share this because I think this is pretty interesting, especially Jaime, for you. You talked about you having hyperthyroidism, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know this, and I don't know if you're going to have a video or not, but see the scar right here. So I don't have a thyroid. My thyroid was removed in 2005. When I was in high school, people, I guess if I didn't get taken out, I would have died. But people thought I was on drugs my senior year. I got so skinny. I think I was down to like 126 back in high school. And that was because I had Graves' disease. Now, I don't know if you have any patients that come in with that, or it's not very common, apparently, but especially for guys. And me being so young, like it was just super random disease, right? So I got Graves' disease when I was 18 years old. And I had an overactive thyroid. So it was pretty much like that movie Thinner. That's that back in the day. Like I could eat whatever I want, but it didn't matter. I just kept losing weight and I got super skinny. And I remember like teachers and coaches pulling me aside and like asking me like, "Hey, is everything okay? Like, is everything good? Are you everything good at home?" And I didn't know. Like, dude, I'm a kid. Like I can't look past Friday night. Like like Friday night as a high school student. And I remember my mom was like, "Whoa, like something's going on. Your eyes are bulging. You're super skinny. I think I know what this is. Let's go to the hospital, or let's go to the doctor." Sure enough, Graves' disease. After high school was over, they removed it. The doctor, I remember the doctor telling me that my thyroid was as big as a football. He said it was pretty big. But I remember I always blamed me not having a thyroid on the reason why I was fat, on the reason why I had no energy. I always use that as an excuse. So I obviously, like, during that time that I was overweight, I knew I was overweight. And I knew all my friends looked great and looked good and worked out, but I always just use that as a excuse. Oh, well, they have thyroids. Oh, well, they have their metabolism. I don't. And um, fast forward now, that obviously was not the case. That it was not my thyroid's fault. It was my lifestyle. It was my lifestyle choices. It was the food choices. That was the problem, never my thyroid. So, anyways, I always think that's a funny, interesting story to tell whenever I talk to people, because it's not, yeah, you never really hear too many people who have Graves' disease.
Yeah. I think I see patients do that a lot. Like, oh, it's my diabetes, or it's my hormones, or so that's why I'm like this. And I think that we use a lot of things in life. I always say excuses. Actually, Tom Shea, this is this thing. Excuses are subtle, seductive, and believable.
Yep.
And I think that would be easy. Oh, it's just my Graves.
It's
It's just this is how I'm going to
easy to
be.
cop out.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was easy. So easy for me to say. That's why. While I'm scarfing down pizza or Taco Bell.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. We're going to wrap this up so Logan and I can go be with our families. But you guys all know I end every single podcast with something called the semen analysis. And I was sent this study earlier this week by a great colleague of mine, Kelly Casperson. If you guys don't follow her, she has a really great podcast out right now called You're Not Broken. But the headline of the study was about the risk of urinary incontinence and its link to thigh muscle area, so strength in our legs. But the study applies to both men and women. So basically, the greater the thigh muscle area, it is associated with a lower risk of urinary incontinence, especially among older women. And this was presented at the International Continence Society. You guys, I bet you didn't know there was an entire society for peeing your pants. And at their annual meeting in Vienna, Austria. So the study included 458 community dwelling adults aged 60 and older. They were all enrolled in the Baltimore Longitudinal Study of Aging, and they were looking at the association between thigh muscle strength, specific force, and incident urinary incontinence. And basically, they took some thigh muscle area in the mid femur, it was the cross section, 10 millimeters by CT images. And then they defined the thigh muscle strength based on maximum concentric contraction at 30 degrees. They were doing knee extensions. And they took that information, they followed these people over 3.2 years, and then looked at the incidence of urinary incontinence. And this was a preliminary study that basically showed that the more muscle they had in their thighs and the stronger that muscle was, their risk of urinary incontinence was less. I just think this highlights that, as we age-related sarcopenia is real, and you don't just lose muscle from your biceps. You lose it everywhere, including your pelvic floor, the muscle that helps your pelvic floor function, the muscles that help you breathe, the muscles that support your airway and your neck. That's why as you age, you can't get up out of a chair. It's harder to go up and down the stairs. You get sleep apnea. You start having urinary incontinence. So if you want to protect yourself against age-related sarcopenia and getting weak and frail, resistance training in eating adequate dietary protein. You heard Goody say, yeah, like my diet's changed a lot. I'm not really ketogenic. I eat proteins as high as macronutrients. So important. And he's always working his tail off in the gym and trying to maintain that awesome amount of muscle mass that he has. Because that's going to protect not only, just frailty of aging, but you want to fight against diabetes, just try to gain muscle. Don't even worry about losing weight. Just try to gain muscle, and that weight will naturally come off. So
yes,
I thought that was an awesome study and wanted to share it for everybody, because everybody has women in their life, and you can tell them right now, get those legs stronger, and it will help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And guys, don't skip leg day.
Nobody should be skipping leg day.
No skipping leg day. All right.
Well, Logan, this has been so wonderful. Please tell people how to find you on social media, your website, and BioCoach.
Yeah. If you want to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, it's Goody Beats. And then on YouTube as well, Goody Beats. I have over 600 videos on YouTube. And then check out BioCoach, biocoach.io. We're doing some really awesome things. If you have any loved ones in your life, or maybe yourself, who needs help reversing their metabolic diseases, like insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, obesity, send them over to biocoach.io. We will take them by the hand and we will show them how they can do that.
I love it. Goody, thank you for sharing your story with everybody today.
Thank you for having me.
And for your energy that you give to the world constantly. I can't wait to see you soon. Everybody, share this episode with anybody you think that they might like it. Maybe it will help them. Leave your comments, leave your reviews. We appreciate you all.
Appreciate it. Love you guys.